Welcome to episode 23 of Greatest Let's Play Modded Minecraft series, and we are back at our ender farm. Don't worry, it's not going to be an entire 47-minute episode of me talking about the ender farm. This really would be easier if MFR was fixed. If you're watching this and MFR is fixed, just go with that, really. You'll notice I've put ender cores down and I've changed the block underneath so that they plant on ender cores. That all works fine. The main problem I had was that when they were getting broken by the Horn of the Wild, the seeds ended up too far away from that flower. Now you can extend its range by sending mana to it, but I didn't like the whole sound of the mana. So what I've done for the moment to see if this fixes it is to move that back wall in one, and move this front wall effectively, the ineffable glass, back one, and hopefully that's going to keep the breaking things within range. And in fact, do I have a spare Horn of the Wild? I probably don't. Let me just reset this for a second. See if this actually works. Yeah, that appears to work perfectly now. And put you back in here. Flip this to restart the timer. It's currently set to 10 minutes, I think, if I remember rightly. Let me just check. Are you set to 10 minutes? Yep, 10 minutes. It probably doesn't take that long, but because they're now on ender cores, every 3 minutes, if you can see the ritual particles, every 3 minutes they're actually going to grow once. And it's only going to take 5 of those, I think, to get to full growth. But, well, in fact, no. It should take less time than that. Otherwise, that 10 minutes is far too small. Yeah, I'll keep monitoring it. It has been working anyway, and as you can see, I mean, that's already half grown. So, yeah, we don't have a problem here, and all I've done underneath is add another ritual to the back. So, that's that sorted. I did try and do something funky by stopping this from, how to explain this, having the Hopper Hawk pull in both seeds and pearls, and then having an item dropper drop straight down onto this, but the Hopper Hawk isn't controllable as far as how fast it pulls stuff in. So the Hopper Hawk was working faster than the Ranuncarpus, so the Ranuncarpus could never replant the stuff. That was an alternative to having to move the walls in. But it works fine now, I think. Just a bit of play with the timer. But that's not what we're going to do this episode. It was just an update, just to keep you running. What we're going to actually do this episode, I think we're still heading towards our mining, automatic mining approach. And to do that, we want to make Tesseracts. Now, as I may have explained previously, I think I did, to get that, you need to get a lot of Enderium ingots. These things. To get those, you need to make a Enderium blend, which is 2 tin, 1 silver, all dusts, 1 pulverized shiny metal, or it's the dust equivalent, and then these resin ender buckets. But you also need the pyrotheum dust, which is some sulfur blaze powder, redstone, and pulverized coal. And I've used up all my sulfur. I'm actually making the ingots, so don't worry, we don't have to go and get sulfur from somewhere. It's a byproduct of pulverizing or sag milling something. Yeah, blaze rods. So, yeah, that's to be expected. So we have, or we should have, almost positive I started making this stuff. Where have you gone? Well, what on earth? Let me go and find where I've left that Enderium. I did make these, I promise. I'm not making things up. Okay, yeah, I'm being an idiot. These machines aren't used to make them. Forgot. They're made in the induction smelter, which is this. Again, it's just a thermal expansion machine. You've seen them before. And I've got 28 enduring ingots. Oh, yeah. They can be used for a lot of things, but mainly this recipe, which makes Tesseract frames. Now, like ender tanks or ender chests, you're going to need a pair of them at least. So let me actually just make 6 for now. That should do. And you're going to need to fill them. Now let's just look at this Tesseract. You're going to need to fill them with resonant ender, which is why, you know, we have this machine over here. Let's see how many ender pearls we're up to now. 106. That's much nicer. So I can probably rig up automatic export to this thing now. But for the moment, I'm only making a few, so I'll wait for that to cook up. And you just drop them in here. And as soon as it fills up, it takes a little bit of time because it takes quite a bit to fill up one of these things. But let's just do the first one. Yada yada yada. Something to note about the Tesseracts, by the way, they transport items, fluids, and energy. Items, fluids are lossless, so you never lose any items going through them, but energy, you do. You lose about 25%, if I remember rightly. So, Tesseract, here's the full thing. Need some bronze and some silver, and we haven't made bronze yet, so there is a way to do it in the induction smelter, tin, and copper. So it's 3 to 1, but it shouldn't matter. They can cook up. Now we've got some more. Now, although I'm going to use these for mining, they're really useful. If you want to lay out a ton of wiring around your entire base, if I wanted something all the way over here or down in the mine, transport stuff back automatically, you can use ender chests, but you can also use these. Ender chests are good for items only. Fluids, yeah. I mean, if you wanted a central tank and then, you know, a storage tank of this lava, you can use the ender tanks obviously for fluids. So that's 2 separate items, where this is just one, and then you add energy on top of that, and you suddenly get the ability to power your base, power anything, anywhere from energy generation in your base. So again, that's all great. Have you finished? Oh, I've got 4. Tinker's alloy ingot, that's the same thing as bronze, so... Tesseract. There we go. So if we have a pair to start, that should be fine. In fact, let's just store them in there and making more liquid. To do the next phase of the mining thing, we need somewhere to mine. And because it's going to be a world eater, I could do this in the overworld, but it's literally, once I'm finished with it anyway, it's going to bore a 1 chunk wide long trough through the entire world down to bedrock. That's not... You know, I suppose it's my own server, so I'm not too bothered about that, but the people who are on this shared server may not appreciate it if you go and bore essentially an infinite, once you're finished, an infinite line, a trough all the way down to bedrock, especially if it just so happens you start it somewhere and it heads off in a direction and bores right through someone's base. Yes, that can happen. So, try not to do that. It would be amusing for you, for the other person, not so much. So, yeah, let's not do that. Instead, what you want to actually get started with is Mystcraft. Now, I've used it before over here. I really should replace these with elevators. I've got the materials now. Up here we've got this single solitary ink mixer, which makes link panel pages, and that's fine because I'm going to need at least one, and maybe I take two. I'm definitely going to replace these with elevators, but not right now. So if I grab some leather, I always create two linking books. Strictly speaking, you'll need one linking book, but it's one of those things where you never ever want to be caught without one because they're your only way back. So if I have more than one, at least I'm protected against that kind of thing. And you could also have a system of, I don't know, you could have a separate ender bag in here or something that just contains linking books back to the overworld. But then if you lose the ender bag, you get the idea. We also want a book stand or view, which I've got some of, which is fine. Now, this is our way back, but what's our way out? You've seen me create linking books to other places in other dimensions like the Nether and the End, and a Pyramid of Blood, but that's in our current dimension. But Mystcraft's main point is to create other dimensions entirely, generate entirely new dimensions. And to do that, we're going to need to create a few items, I think. So, Mystcraft. So, this has been a little bit of time since I've done them, but I'm going to create all the items at the moment. I'm not going to create all the items at once, even though we may not use them initially. So, the writing desk, definitely one we'll need. And let's grab a book binder. And a couple of lecterns are never a bad idea. The lectern is an alternate way of having these book stands. You can put books on them, which is kind of cool. And now it's lost my filter. What else have we got? I don't need crystal yet. Writing desk. Interesting. Writing desk backboard. I wonder if that's a multi-block now. Yeah, anyway. What we actually need to make is a descriptive book. And this actually doesn't have the recipe, which is particularly handy. It's just a feather and a book. Or am I misremembering? It's also very possible for me to misremember things, but I'm certainly going to need a supply of paper as well, so let's go and get some of that. I've been using all my previous paper up to make books, to make bookshelves, to make ender cores, and yeah, I'm kind of sick of making ender cores now. I've got 13 of them, and they'll do, I think. So, supply of paper, please. Yes. And I should probably fill up on the ink. This recipe, it's been a while since I've filled up file. Yeah, of course they need to be full first. You can pipe ink in and out. Yeah, I'm gonna go modify this, so I may as well go make those elevators. You can pipe ink around as well as creating these ink vials. I haven't looked in. I think if I remember rightly, it's sided, so you got to have this done correctly. when you know work. Ladders, maybe? Yeah, ladders. There we go. And I'm floating. So let's put down the writing desk, which is a 2 wide block. And I've got these. I could have just travelled straight over from there. Annoying. There's the writing desk and a backboard. Maybe that's part of a multi-block. Don't know anyway. That's not important. Papering up here. And what other blocks have we got? We've got a bookbinder to put down. Sure, I like that way around, but okay. Do we have any other blocks? No, strictly speaking, I think we can put lecterns on the top of here like this. And so that's that started. So we've got all the blocks, and let's just put my ink vials back in. Get rid of everything else. Okay, what's next? What's next is that I went out and created a bunch of ages, 2 in this case. Ended up creating, this is age 4, a descriptive book. To create a descriptive book, we just drop a piece of leather up there, and then a link panel from this. I'm going to need one anyway, so I'll grab one of those. You drop that into here, and you take this out, and you end up with a random age. Now, the way this works is just like with these linking books. If you use those books without being on a book stand or a lectern, they work just the same as book stands. You'll drop the book and you'll be teleported, which is not really a good outcome. Instead, if you put them on these, of course, they'll stay where they are and you'll jump. That's okay, because you're going to create them both ways. And once you're out there, you can create a new linking book. You can link out there, which means I can go somewhere like this, which is one of my random ages. As you can see, it's a flat world, just completely by accident. It's just a completely random world when you use this link panel and nothing else. And you go out exploring, not for places like this, but for libraries, which are stone structures with books in them and pages. The pages, you can create something called a notebook. Fairly simple recipe. Now, the notebooks obviously can contain pages. Nothing in there at the moment though. However, when you go out there, find some pages in some libraries, and you'll probably see this shortly, you can come back and put these into notebooks, and then if you put your notebook here, you can name it and put it back here. So I've got some biome pages, so Alps, biome, etc. Some world pages. Some blocks that we want to see, and they can modify things, and some attributes like dark sun. So the way this works is you are quite literally writing a book. If you take your notebook, put it here, you'll see this blank space. We can right click on any of these blocks to start writing our book, and the way that you do this is by writing the adjectives and then the nouns. So to give you an example, a void world would be a noun. And in fact, I'm not sure if, ignore void world for a minute because that's a special case. Standard world, if we wanted, let's say, what do I have here? I'm not sure I have the default blocks, which is kind of annoying. No, I don't. What I actually want is here is like the stone block and, typical water. So I'd use both of those, right click, Then do standard world, but in this case I don't have any of those blocks. I'm just going to have to do standard world, and then I can start thinking about other things to add. There's also biomes. Have I put them actually in here? Keeping track of all these pages is actually one of the hardest parts of this. Colors. Yeah, you see, I don't really have enough pages yet, so it's kind of annoying to write until you've got all the pages. So we'll just start off with a standard world, and let's see what have we got in here. Desert biome, I think should be first. Then do I want anything else? By the way, you probably notice as I am actually doing this, my ink is going down, and it will use up vials and paper to make it. So I'm going to add a couple more desert. The reason for that is I just want to see whether that will override that for a second. Well, that will override the chance of random biomes. Anything you don't fill in here, by the way, it will just fill with random, all kinds of random stuff. So I just want to add stuff in here. Let's see, blocks. Do I have anything to modify? I don't want dirt block. The problem with using dirt block is that it replaces all the stone with dirt, which is it's not quite the same as what you normally expect. So you can use liquid tin to make things like liquid tin lakes or pools or oceans. So we're aware of that as well. And then dense ores will add instability. Okay, so I'll rearrange this later. I want dungeons. Don't want any of these. Natural sky color. No weather. Spheres, spikes. Don't really want any of that. Surface lakes. I do, but I don't want to modify them, so I'll leave it alone. Tendrils I don't need. Twinkling stars and that. World written. So if I open this up, you'll see all my pages here. Desert, dungeons. So if I take dungeons out for a second, desert, 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 standard world. Pretty much everything else is just, I don't have any modifiers for this. So let's just leave that as is. So if I now right click with the notebook, see it's empty again. And I could put it somewhere else, but for now I'll leave it in my inventory. And I think I want the link panel. Is that enough? I thought that would be enough to make it. What have I forgotten? As usual, of course, it was me derping. I just had the link panel at the wrong end. It needs to be at the start of the book, not the end of the book, so just bear that one in mind. So we've added lots of desert to this. I don't have any biome modifiers, like single biome would be amazing. I could get that, but I don't have it. So, first world, first written world anyway, I've got some random ones. I've got a couple of linking books, I'm going to need that way to get back. Another one to link out there, a couple of notebooks just in case I pick up some pages. And yeah, let's give it a try. Ooh, nice. wow, 2 moons. That's kind of cool. And the sun is moving. And hunger, weakness, haste, poison. Okay. First of all, let me check whether that's due to the instability. In fact, it was due to the instability. All yeah. All worlds, unfortunately, due to the bug with not really a bug, the FTB ore distribution created instability. So for the moment, I'm going to turn instability off just by that command, and later we can revisit that. The reason why I laughed is we've got these tendrils all over the place, and these are definitely, I think, wow. I would like them because they're good for portals, but at the same time, yeah, I mean, no wonder there's instability and all over the place. I mean, obviously we got a desert everywhere, which is what we asked for. No weather, which is what we asked for. But I've got wood spheres because I think I put spheres in there. Yeah, stone spheres. Tendrils was just random. So the first thing we want to do is hope that I haven't lost my place. There is somewhere a 3x3. I have lost my original 3x3. In this case, it doesn't actually matter because I've got my books with me. Oh, there it is. There we go. So let's just drop a book stand down. Linking book way home, and let's also link here. That's the overworld one. I want this one. And we have our first written world. And, you know, I could use that for mining. But you see with all those tendrils everywhere, I can't just create a world eater without some way to clear ahead of it. And so I'm not quite sure whether I'm going to use that world yet. I definitely want to use a world like it, but I may go and see if I can get even more pages to see if I can control it quite a bit more. And this, unfortunately, is one of the problems that you get when you don't have all the pages yet. Excuse me. I'm still trying to create a world. I've obviously got a rainbow now, but this is a library. But I don't really have any of the good blocks yet. For example, I don't have stone blocks, so I created a desert world, all desert, just desert pages, and I end it with endstone. So yeah, I don't have sand block either to make it a sand desert. So yeah, until I get those, yeah, I'm gonna have to go through a few more worlds to get the pages. Something I have noticed, by the way, these pages on here, these lecterns, always appear to be the same group of maybe 8 different options. I think I've got scorched surface. Take it with me. I think I have it already. And the only ones that are really worth going for, whoops, go away, are the ones in these hidden chests. And there's only one there's only a hidden chest in one corner. It's either this corner or that corner, obviously. Blood block, yellow colour, I'll take one of those, and a blood. Poison. Tin I may already have, glass block I may already have. And unfortunately, at the start of, well, when you're working through Mystcraft, this is largely what you're doing. You're just exploring new worlds and writing improved ones as you go. It can be a little bit boring, it has to be said. The ability to create new worlds is epic and cool, but having to go and just wait for Minecraft's rendering engine to just catch up. And if you're thinking about walking through the world, well, yeah, I'm not going to do that. The libraries aren't too common. You can, however, see them on the map. So if you do have a map mod, like Journey Map in this case, where there you are. So you'll see this kind of thing on the map. And you can use that before the rendering engine is even caught up. Here's another one. Sometimes to find them, and given that they're so actually rare, every 200 blocks or so, something like that. What I'm really looking for is flat world, but I may not get it. Cloud Color, Stone Beach. I may not get it, so I think I may have to set up my miner in one of these kind of worlds. And I already have a relatively flat world for that, but all the other stuff is just random in it, so I was hoping to control that a little better. Doesn't look like I'm going to get it, at least not in time to produce another video. Where's my home? Anyway, I'll come back when I'm back at the base. Okay, back at the base, and that's been a quick introduction to Mystcraft. Without running this episode into really long territory, this is about the half-an-hour mark, so it's probably a good point to finish. I don't think I'm going to get too many more pages. It is terribly boring. I could use the Creative Spawn notebook in probably in future series. That may well be something to do because it takes a long time, and I just really want to dig a rage. I'm not really looking to create anything special. I don't want to end up with, I don't need a dense or age, nor do I need diamond blocks, tendrils and pillars and sorry to call obelisks, spheres or anything like that. That's huge instability, so you go into those ages, you run in, you grab what you can and run out again. Hopefully you run out. So yeah, I just want to create a flat age, and in this case, this random world that I created, it happens to have Twilight Forest stuff in it, but otherwise it's fairly flat. Could use this one, or I think let's see what the next one is. Yeah, or this one, because this one is actually sand desert, and I don't think there are any caves, so, you know, plenty of blocks to mine. There are these tendrils, though, so we're definitely going to need to create a mining machine that can get rid of those in front of it, if they are there. Goblin. Other thing to say, by the way, this is obviously mostly flat because it's triple desert M biome. But when you get a world like this, it makes it much easier to find the Thorncraft nodes. And if you're going to collect those, which we are going to be doing in a future video, having a Mystcraft world available, if you've even got a completely flat world like the other one, it makes it even better. But you know, that's all just for the future. For now, I'll say goodbye for this episode, but I'm going to continue recording and make the next episode, which is going to be the start of the mining machine. See you then.